Markets are bleeding, but the cockroaches are still running around. Welcome back, as our friend Robin dubbed the community the cockroaches. Markets are down. We're putting some trades in. We're making money. We also are very excited as we have the team from the DKING project joining us to talk about how they are going to be putting Vegas bookies on alert and how it's going to transform the AI agent and sports betting industry. We got a lot of AI stuff to talk about, a lot of exciting projects that have recently seen some drawdowns, and which ones I have my eye on that I believe potentially 10 to 20x from here. We're going to talk about that. Also, the Solana need an ETF. We're going to talk about that. We have so much to cover today. Let's get started.
It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content, where we take old, boring, and stale co-hosts and we repackage them up in a fun and
the Roach Master himself. What's up, man?
Good, man.
How you doing, bro?
How many times are you gonna say Roach today?
You started it, not me. Don't start something and then get upset when people run with it. So people are running with it.
You're
I'm
like
running
the
with
guy
it.
that you tell a joke, and the next thing you know, that person goes and tells every family member they're calling.
You
they're
literally
calling
told
their coworkers.
You
They're like,
literally,
hey, I heard a new joke.
You literally told an audience of 400 people watching that they're roaches. So I mean, what did you expect?
It was beyond a compliment, you know. And the thing is like, we need roaches in this world. You know, when they did Noah's Ark, if they would have left the roaches out, the butterfly effect that you would have got from leaving out the roaches would have caused catastrophic problems for the world.
Yeah, big
you
problems.
know, you would have had extinction level events because you know there's so many creatures on this planet that depend on the roaches, and so you know you can't.
We depend on you, Robin.
That's right.
Lead us the way.
Mm.
Did you see what our buddy Joe Biden did?
Sleepy Joe's not sleeping at the wheel when it comes to selling Bitcoin.
He is sleeping. You know, just because you brought that up, this was Joe Biden at Jimmy Carter's funeral. Well, my boy getting his little afternoon nap. You think he's dreaming about all the Bitcoin he has to sell?
He's praying.
Elizabeth
I think the computer program's rebooting, updating.
You think Joe Biden's an AI agent?
I think he might be a robot, man. I mean, a while ago he was out for a while. Remember, he disappeared for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
People were thinking like,
oh, they were changing his hardware.
Yeah, maybe he actually died, and then they replaced him with an AI bot.
With a roach.
And ever since then, you know, AI is good, but just not good enough to fool all the public.
It's not good enough to run the free world, you know?
You can't fool me, Biden.
Yeah.
Or whatever machine that is.
Yeah. Anyways, so this news dropped yesterday. U.S. government cleared to sell 69,370 Bitcoin worth $6.5 billion seized from Silk Road. Now, this ruling came on December 30th. A years-long ownership dispute over the seized Bitcoin ended after Battleborn Investments lost its bid to delay the sale. The group had claimed ownership through a bankruptcy estate and recently lost a related FOIA case seeking to reveal the identity of individual X who originally surrendered the Bitcoin. The law firm called it another egregious example of the DOJ's abuse of the civil asset forfeiture process. And he said the government, quote, relied on procedural trickery to make sure the facts are never heard. Sounds like they were really trying to manipulate some information to make sure they can sell some Bitcoin before Daddy Trump got in office. Huh? What are your thoughts here, man? You know the way I look at it? Here's the way I look at it, okay? Let's just say they didn't sell any of the Bitcoin before Trump came in. Right? We know what Trump wants to do. Bitcoin strategic reserve, 5 million Bitcoin, right? 200,000 a year, correct? For 5 years. So 5 million or 1 million Bitcoin in 5 years comes out to 200,000 Bitcoin a year. Now, if he came into office and they already had the 200,000 Bitcoin, well, he would only have to buy 800,000 Bitcoin. So the way I look at it is this. If Biden's going to go ahead and sell it, when Trump gets back in, if that strategic reserve gets passed, he's just going to buy it back anyways, right? So this might be actually an opportunity for those people.
But he said he's going to hold the Bitcoin that we currently have.
And
then addition by.
I thought it was a million total. So you're saying
I don't know. He never. Okay. there's two things you're conflating here. Okay. So Cynthia Lummis said that she's going to propose a bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin, or for I don't know the exact details. Was it buy 1 million Bitcoin, get to 1 million Bitcoin, whatever it is? But President Trump never announced that he was going to buy a certain amount of Bitcoin. That was Cynthia Lummis. Now, we're assuming that Trump is going to support the Cynthia Lummis bill. You know, the two of them shared the stage for the most part, or as soon as Trump came off the stage in Nashville, the Bitcoin conference this year, we had Cynthia Lummis take the stage right afterwards. And so we can assume, but that is exactly that. It's an assumption. The only campaign promise that Trump had was that they were going to hold the Bitcoin that they have and then have Bitcoin, quote unquote, be built in America. Now, I know, so you're alluding to the fact that they're going to sell this Bitcoin prior to Trump getting in office, right?
Rob, I've seen some reports that because obviously this thing was December 30th, that the judge ruled, I believe, and someone in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw this. I'm not a lawyer, but they have 5 days from that judgment to sell it. So meaning, or to start selling it.
I'm sure it probably starts in 5 days. Okay. This would not be, okay, well, let me explain something. This is not the first time that the U.S. has ever had some Bitcoin that decided to sell. Bitcoin, the United States has seized Bitcoin in many different instances before. This large sum, this came from the large hack, right? So anyways, what we've seen before, how the U.S. has sold Bitcoin, is through an auction. It's a public auction that accredited investors or whoever's got enough money to buy this Bitcoin can register for the auction. So this has not happened. So what you see is that there's a public notice. So first of all, here's the format.
Okay, tell me.
So the U.S. Marshal Service releases a public announcement well ahead of auction date. So there's an auction date set. Okay. The U.S. Marshals announce to the public there's an auction date. Then there's a notice. The notice will include how much Bitcoin is available per the auction, the auction date, instructions on how to register, the minimum required to deposit to have a seat at the auction, and then there's deadlines set. All these deadlines are for the items included. Then you have pre-registration requirements. Prospective bidders must register by cutoff date. As part of the registration, bidders typically must provide proof of identity, government ID. They have to have a refundable deposit. The high deposit is meant to ensure participants can enter the auction. Then you have the auction format. And so, historically, most of the United States auctions for Bitcoin have been a sealed bid, meaning that qualified bidders submit single confidential bids. Participants do not see each other's bids. And then you have anyways, all of this.
What does it mean?
Has not happened yet. So I'm just going to tell you here, before you start freaking out and saying, hey, the U.S., they moved the wallet. They probably sold all the Bitcoin. They sold all the Bitcoin. No. The United States the United States is not some nerd sitting behind a desk saying, all right, I'm going to sell now. Like, no, there's an entire process. It's an auction. The same way that, like, if they confiscate a Lambo, the Department of Justice can't just offload it to one of their friends or buddies, right? There has to be a public auction. There needs to be a date. There needs to be bidders.
Is there a certain person's Lambo you're thinking about, or just like in general? Was that a general statement, or?
No, yeah, just a general statement. But anyways.
So what are you trying to say? You're trying to say
I'm saying that, sure, they're allowed to sell the Bitcoin. The judge says you can sell the Bitcoin.
They're not selling it into the order book.
Historically, Bitcoin sold by the United States government has went through an auction process. I'm sure
that is OTC, essentially.
It doesn't matter if it's OTC.
Of course it matters.
No, it doesn't. It's the bidders that come in. Okay, you're not going to plug an API for the order book for Coinbase's Bitcoin order. I'm
trying to dumb it down for the people.
Well, what I'm saying is if you say OTC, but there's nothing stopping MicroStrategy from bidding into it, right?
Correct.
They don't have an OTC counter. There's not an OTC book
When I
there.
said OTC, I mean off the order books. It's not on the order books. That's all I'm saying.
It's an auction. What auction has ever?
Robin, I get it, but maybe some people watching don't understand what that means. So I'm just saying, doesn't affect.
It's an auction. Sign up for the auction. Auction will be a public date. The auction hasn't even been announced. Nobody's sold any Bitcoin, at least not the United States. And I'm sure if they really, 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 really wanted to, the president could do an executive order. He could theoretically do it. But I mean, that's so many. You're circumventing so many different steps.
Well, he did get a good nap in, so he might have a lot of energy to do that.
So anyways, the moral of the story is you're going to see a lot of headlines. U.S. is selling Bitcoin. We threw it on our thumbnail. It's more of a laugh, right? And at the end of the day, the United States is not selling their Bitcoin. Now they've gotten approval to sell, and if Trump wasn't coming in office in 10 days, I would have legitimate concerns that they would probably try to expedite this auction. But I mean, realistically, sign up for an auction, have a public date. It's going to be a month at the fastest rate possible, maybe longer. And so let's not get ahead of ourselves. The U.S. is not selling their Bitcoin.
Roaches are simple creature. I just try to explain to them. Okay. When the year started, I said on this channel, I said this will be the channel that you're going to get all the AI alpha you're not going to get anywhere else. And well, that continues today. We're very excited to bring on two guests. Never been on the show. I spoke with Max on the phone 2 days ago. We had an amazing conversation. I begged him to make some time to come on the show to share some of the amazing things that these guys are doing in the AI and AI agent sector. So we're excited to have Max and his business partner, Nigel, joining us live today. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
We're excellent. Gentlemen, Max, I know we spoke on the phone. Nigel, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm David. This is my co-host, Robin, and our production team, I believe you spoke to earlier. Again, thank you so much for making the time. Because this is your first time on our show, do you mind giving us a little intro, a little background on yourselves? And Max, we can start with you first, if you don't mind.
Sure. Background in advertising first, and then jumped into crypto in late 2016. Founded a company that was mining Bitcoin with green energy. Realized that it was quite a heavy lift to kind of build data centers from the ground up. Went back to something more digital, and fast forward 2021, had a couple of wins. Started to help projects to go to market in the crypto world. Started to work at the intersection of AI and Web3 with a project called Human Protocol that was labeling data for AI companies. And in parallel, started to work with someone called Jean and was part of the co-founding team of a company called CrunchDAO, which has now more than 7,000 ML engineers competing against each other to create models for different types of customers, but mainly finance. In parallel, met with Nigel and Tim, my two co-founders at Score, and started to work for mainly people in the sports industry with a huge forte in football, what you guys call soccer. And at some point in 2024, we realized that we could actually merge all of our worlds together and start create value for people in the world of sports. And lately, decided to contribute to this, huge trend and tech breakthrough of AI agents, and we contributed to the launch of an AI agent that I think we're going to talk about today. But I'll let Nigel introduce himself. And
awesome, thanks for that, Nigel. I heard a lot of great things about you, my friend.
Yeah, they're all lies. So my background is I started in tech as an engineer with a company called Ampex, who were the inventors of the helical scan technology, which is the helical scan that effectively is beta or VHS tapes that use the helical scan. I then joined a business called Softimage, who were out of Montreal, and we were the guys behind the 3D animation software for games. So Psygnosis Wipeout, one of our early games. And then we ventured into special effects for films like Titanic. We were acquired by Microsoft in '94. I had a journey with them, which was phenomenal. And then invested in multiple companies, tech companies on a journey. And more recently, in the last 4 years, myself, Max, and Tim have started to look at this particular vertical. I have 5 children, 5 boys, 3 of which play professional soccer. So I have a real interest in soccer, as you guys call it. So that's kind of how we've ended up really focused on this particular vertical.
5 kids, God bless your soul, because I got 3, and my God. Interesting. Max said football to start. You said soccer. So interesting there. Gentlemen, we're definitely going to get into what you guys are doing, but I want to pick your brain on something, because there's a lot of talk. You know, the AI agents, it's really started picking up, the AI sector. I would say probably October, November of last year. Not a lot of people were talking about it. It was kind of intriguing to people. And now you're starting to see a lot of people talking about it. And you have 2 different voices on each side of the aisle. I want to share a post here. This is from Raul Pal, okay? He said, unpopular opinion, I think the current AI agents theme is mid-curve and took off because nothing else was going to amuse the chronic gamblers. Then you have on the flip side, the CEO and founder of the largest company in the world now, NVIDIA, Jensen Huang, saying AI agents are a $1 trillion industry. I am curious, you are builders in this space. Who do you side with, and what are your thoughts on what Raul Paul said and the people in his camp, and what Jensen Huang said from NVIDIA? Max, I guess we can start with you first.
I have to say that I think Nigel has been working with Jensen in the early days, so he's probably going to always be on his side. And Nigel, I'll let you just talk about this right after. So I think they're not talking about the same type of agents, if I'm honest with you. But I think the first tweet is just missing the point of everything we're trying to do online. We're running a Bittensor subnet for a couple of months, and we're doing like deep tech on a computer vision algorithm and stuff. Really, really deep tech. But it's just a matter of attention. I mean, this whole game is a matter of attention. So I think the kind of mimetic play with agents at the moment are a good way for good projects to get attention on their tech. If it's just to kind of build another meme coin, then I don't really know if it has a great value or not. I'm no one to judge. But Jensen is talking about agents that are able to kind of act autonomously, and I think that's where some projects that have launched AI agents in the sense of crypto are heading towards too, but probably not all of them.
Interesting. Nigel, do you have any thoughts on this conversation?
Yeah, obviously, I'll back Jensen all the way, because he's always, Softimage was and NVIDIA were partners. We worked hand in hand in terms of how we moved from an idea to delivering phenomenal solutions. So I'm more of a, if I'm totally honest, But for me, I want to see products that can deliver real value. And I know that in soccer, football, the data that we're generating through Score and the models we're creating are valuable not just for DKING, but are going to be valuable for multiple products within the soccer space. So I think agents are going to be here forever, and they're going to be critical. Is my answer to that.
Amazing. Nigel, I'm only asking this because Max mentioned, you've worked with Jensen or you're close with him. We were having this conversation. This jacket, are you a fan of the jacket? Would you wear this, or are you fading the jacket?
No. I would. Look, fancy dress party, I would probably wear that.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, I guess if I didn't care if people laughing at me and I was a multi-billionaire, I guess I'd wear it. But I'm just a little insecure sometimes with my fashion. I don't know. I'm not a big showboaty kind of dresser guy. I'm the OG dad guy with the dad wardrobe. But yeah,
love it.
Gentlemen, I want to ask you, what is DKING? I was introduced to your project from a Telegram group of a lot of connected people in the AI space, and they shared with me your white paper, and I read it. And I was just like, it was, when I say too good to be true, I'm like, how is that even possible? And then I requested to be connected with Max, which I was, thankfully, and we got on the phone, and you're sitting there talking to me. I'm like, oh my God. Then I reach out to my cousin who does this for a living, sports betting. When I told him, his reaction was the same, like, how is that even possible? Can one of you explain to us what is DKING and what makes it so revolutionary in the sector that you're looking to grow in?
Yeah, so thanks for the question and the kind words. DKING is one thing. DKING is owned by the community, and we are core contributors to this agent. We're contributing our tech and our AI, framework. And what DKING, is here to do is to be an autonomous sport betting syndicate, basically owned by the token owners. And what DKING is going to do is basically going to collect a lot of data from, several data sources, all then kind of enhanced by collective intelligence. And I can probably talk to you a bit more about collective intelligence right after. Then the agent itself, with its own, with its own framework, will have to make decisions based on the data and the alpha and insights it's getting from the data sources. Obviously, we're adding to our contribution our computer vision capabilities. So just for you to know, on Score Vision, one of our product line, we're able to let computers watch any games real time, and we can actually process like 40 games an hour, 24/7, if we'd like to do so. So giving this AI computer vision capabilities, making sure it gets insight and alpha from communities of quants to then place bets on behalf of its community, basically. I'm sure you have other questions, but that's pretty much like the core principle.
Awesome.
A question is, I know you said it's watching games, and it might be seem like a novel question here, but is it physically watching it like in real time, like the actual game, or is it more sourcing data from an API, like statistics, like, hey, this is how many shots on goal, this is passes, who's scored, who's on the field, who's getting subbed, or is it just like visually like watching it and then identifying players and kind of running up its own stats in real time?
Both. Actually, you have to, if you really want to build an edge, you have to do both.
Okay.
And this is what we bring, because if we would just using the same APIs, same data, and same models, we wouldn't be able to kind of come on the market helping this agent and contributing to this agent to really bring a different take on what how betting should be handled from a community perspective. So yeah, our subnet on Bittensor is able to really watch games like visually.
How I'm just curious, how does that even, how do you even frame that up? Is it you put a webcam on there? Is it like I don't know, man. I'm just thinking like, how's a robot watching games? I know that's kind of a rudimentary way of thinking about it. Or do you just simply like feeding in a live stream into
it's exactly like you are doing like a screen grab.
Yeah,
it's exactly that. You don't have to have a webcam or whatever. You just get a feed. And then basically what we do, so we're pushing something on Bittensor that's quite new. So we've invented a way to annotate like video footage at a very low cost and quite quickly, like faster than any other company. So what we do, and I'm not going to kind of go too deep into the technicalities, but we're able to let a crowd of 256 teams of ML engineers competing to bring the best models possible to analyze what's happening on the screen. And then we have a very lightweight and fast validation process that allows other parties to check the ML engineer's work. And by doing this, we can kind of speed up all the whole process and make it completely automated, which makes a huge difference, again, from a cost perspective, but also from a operational speed perspective.
Awesome. Gentlemen, I got two questions, and whichever one he wants to answer. Why Bittensor? Because there's a few frameworks out there. Why Bittensor? And why soccer to start? Because I know you're only doing soccer or football now. So why Bittensor and why soccer?
Okay, Nigel, maybe you do why soccer and
Right, you answer the Bittensor, I'll answer the soccer.
Okay, cool. So why Bittensor? Because basically we try to assess other protocols and other communities and other decentralized AI ecosystem, and we just realized that the core principle of Bittensor is to find the right incentive mechanism to really push the tech to a level that no one else has ever reached. And we realized that the beauty of it is that it's so pure from a kind of game theoretical point of view, that if you find the right symmetry and the right target, I would say, there's nothing better for AI companies or AI teams than Bittensor at the moment. If you really want to push the state of the art on your own field of AI, that's pretty much what I would say in a couple of words.
Awesome.
And
And then Nigel, why soccer, Nigel?
So imagine the amount of games I've watched as a father of 5, of which three kids have become professional soccer players. I think at grassroots level in soccer, they don't have access to the data that I think would help enhance grassroots. So I have an affiliation with soccer. I care deeply for grassroots soccer in certainly in the UK. So it was a no-brainer for me to add the experience I have, having taken my kids from 4 or 5 years old right through to playing professional and semi-pro football. It was a no-brainer for us to look at how can we enhance and improve that particular ecosystem. So I think this tech will lend itself to every sport, is the honest answer. I think soccer is one of the largest sports in the world. And I can add a lot of value from a kind of a product perspective, like where are the needs of the football ecosystem. I can add a lot of value there. So that's the honest answer.
And I'm assuming eventually you'll venture out to other sports like American football and hockey and basketball.
Yeah, 100%. And just for you to know, guys, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but from all the sports, I mean, the competition on American sports, is crazy. But in football, actually, there's a lot of liquidity and not that many hedge funds.
Okay, interesting.
I was curious. So, for something like what you guys have, and even I'm sure there's going to be other competitors and copycats and other products. Is this industry or yours? Is it geared more towards the individuals, or is it for like institutions? Is it a mix of both? Are casinos going to be running agents, or is it going to be just this ecosystem alone against the casino and against the books? Is there going to be kind of a war going on between the casinos releasing their own APIs because they're they got to keep their edge, right? And if they're losing money to an AI agent group, blockchain, a project, or maybe a host of projects, whatever it is, that they gotta combat that, right? And maybe swing the pendulum back into their favor. So I guess there's a couple questions there. Who's using it? Who's the product for? And if it's starting to swing odds into the favor of the public or even towards the agents, what do you think the bookmakers and the odds makers are going to do to prevent all of this?
I think the beauty of financial markets and betting markets is that they're sports in themselves. And the beauty of having this kind of hedge fund approach with this AI agent is that you can play defense or you can play offense. So we're not trying to bring another let's beat the bookie kind of approach. We're trying to contribute to tech that will provide, first of all, its holders, its token holders, some great value in the way it's going to kind of manage the AUM collected. And then obviously, since we contributed to this launch, we received a lot of inbound from people from like, books and, betting venues and casinos. And
Any from Vegas?
I think there's a sorry?
Any from Las Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, people are really excited about this. I think from like, so obviously just to kind of close this, we definitely want to help DKING and its community to have access to like a top-notch consumer facing platform. So that's very important for us as core contributors. And I think that's going to be, really cool for people to kind of understand what's happening under the hood. But then, given the conversations we were having, and at some point also DKING is a DAO, so I think people will have to be involved in decision process and stuff like that. Maybe there's a new model. It's early. It's very, very early, and I think this tech is so disruptive that maybe, even if it's a war game, at some point casinos are going to understand that maybe they need to kind of create a new type of books, or they need to let other people, teaming up with them to create new venues for liquidity. And I think prediction markets are amazing, but maybe there's a new form of this, and maybe household names are going to contribute to make the agents this kind of new wave of casinos. Or it's still early. We don't really know, and I think that's the most exciting part. It's because I think a new model is going to emerge from this.
That'll be interesting. This industry is billions of dollars, right? I mean, literally during the week of Super Bowl, people literally just come out here to go to the sports book to watch games and put in prop bets during the game. So that's just one day out of the year. Add every sport on there and the amount of money that's sloshing around in this industry. I think it's amazing. I want to share a post here from the Score X handle, and whichever one of you wants to take this question. But 4 days to Score Vision mainnet launch. If you're new to Bittensor or Tau, here's how it works. Every subnet needs a strong incentive mechanism to attract miners, machine learning legends to crunch data, create value, and redefine SOTA, get validators to verify outputs, rank miners, and enforce clear KPIs. What you see here are two views of a validator log. You also had this post as well. It was another one I closed. It was talking about how you are able to run multiple agents now. And I think you kind of answered that question, but there was a update, right? There's something called dynamic Tau coming. And I know you're probably more in depth into that ecosystem than I am, but I'll kind of just break it down for the viewer. What this allows you to do is stake your Tau tokens to a certain subnet. So if there's a subnet that you enjoy or you think is going to bring more value, you can stake your Tau tokens and you get that subnet's token in return. How does this play out for you guys? And then what's the 4 days to the mainnet launch? Any alpha or info you can share with us and what you're kind of most excited about with this coming ahead?
Yeah, definitely. So detail is amazing, because basically what is going to like unlock is the doors to Bittensor being like a real, I would say, open and completely democratic ecosystem. So a lot of token holders, like traditional token holders, are going to be able to kind of start doing their DD and see if they're interested in some subnets. And for subnet owners, Nigel, maybe you want to follow on this, but we were discussing this. It's fun to know, and obviously we're going to make a bridge, like a link between the subnet and the agent. And there's going to be like a whole tokenomics around this. We'll announce this later on. But I think the most exciting part for this, and I'm speaking for all subnet owners, not just us. If you take DKING, for instance, holding DKING is giving you exposure to like a shop, like a front end. You're part of an app, let's say. And if you hold DTAU from the subnet that is, providing DKING with the tech, contributing to DKING, you also can be exposed to the work of the lab. So I think it's the first time in AI where people can check the apps and check the labs and see if they think it makes sense, or maybe if they want to move from the lab to the app, or to the app to the lab. You know what I mean? I think it's it's creating a whole new economy.
It's very intriguing. Nigel, did you have any input you want to give here on this topic?
No, I'm with Max. I think what detail brings is the ability to look at each subnet and say, I believe in this project. I believe in what these guys are doing, and you have the ability to therefore to back that project. And so we know what we're building. And certainly on Monday when computer vision is launched on subnet 44 is exciting for us. We're that is in many ways the beginning of this journey. I think, as Max has just said, the app, so to speak, in DKING is the ability to invest in the output to the world. So we're covering both bases. We're super comfortable with this, and you guys need to watch this space. We have never been so energized to make a success of what we're doing. We're super proud and lucky to be part of Bittensor and honored to be here today to explain what we're doing.
No, that's amazing. And the way I look at it is, I'm all about competition, right? If you own a restaurant and there's two other restaurants that pop up and they're doing something better than you, then it's going to motivate you to do something better. So allowing stakers of Tau to be able to pick whatever subnet they believe is going to bring them more value, I think is going to motivate the builders in those subnets to up their games. And so I love that idea. I
just want to chime in. The one thing that I really love is the fact that I do sports betting here. Obviously, I'm in Las Vegas. I can just drive down the street. But there's always, for the most part, a 10 to 20% cut that the casinos are always taking. So for me, I just look at it from a fee perspective. I'm always looking for a different option, right? It's you get minus 110 on your odds for all your bets. And I'm like,
you only bet the favorites.
Yeah, and so you either got to go money line and try to figure out where the value is, but if you're just going with the odds makers picks, they're raking in a massive amount of money in these sports books. I mean, you come out here, you come visit Vegas, sports books are getting larger, and these, they got these movie theater chairs in there. They're all leather, they recline back. It's a lot of money is getting poured into that industry, and it's all funneling into these to the casinos and to the bookies, and so. I'd like to see some of that come back to the people and incentivize the users to what? Hey, I could put in a sports bet at a fraction of the cost that I would at a local casino, and then on top of that, for your professional bettors, you just look at the odds. You got to be over like 60% to make any money to account for the casino's cut. So for professionals, it makes sense. For the average bettor, it makes sense because you're keeping more money to yourself, and so that's what I'm the most excited about because here our homegrown casinos they make a lot of money.
Well, they do pay our state taxes too, so that's a positive always, right? Gentlemen, I want to ask you before I let you go. I want to ask you outside of the niche you're working in, is there a sector in the AI agent space that you believe is ripe for some level of disruption that you're excited about? Is it gaming? Is it DeFi? Is it, I don't know. Is there something that's kind of on your radar and you don't have to name a project, maybe like a niche or a sector within the AI agent space?
I would say anything related to business operations. So call centers, CRMs. That's going to make a huge difference.
Okay. What about you, Nigel?
Yeah, I would lean into that as well. I think that's the obvious use case where you can see instantly the savings that would make are immense. So yeah, I would lean into that. There's some other things I'd like to mention, but we're too close to working on them. I don't really want to give away too many secrets here today, but
you can if you want to, Nigel. Feel free. The platform is yours.
We'll save it for another
podcast.
But yeah, for sure. But I think that's a no-brainer for the agent space.
I agree. I think if markets tell us anything, people want convenience. So if you're able to make their lives easier, cheaper, people are going to flock to that. And so this space, I think you both mentioned how, or Nigel, you mentioned how energized you feel in this space. I feel the same. It's just AI is so exciting. There's always something new happening. It's kind of, we're in this arms race of people trying to get the best tech. And I think the agent space is going to be a lot of amazing projects that are created. And a lot of, honestly, I'll just say it, it's going to be a lot of wealth created for a lot of people. And I think it's going to be for the right reasons, and that's always exciting.
I'm excited to shift the power back to the people when it comes to complicated bureaucracy and like long, like I would say, okay, here's my case is that if you're doing taxes, for example, the tax code is, there's so many laws here in the United States, it's crazy. Right? You stand no chance, and so to have an agent that can sift through tax long lists of tax codes and laws and put it in your favor, because without a computer, without a company, a high price company, there's no way you're going to be able to like not get taken advantage of. And so I think that for laws, for governments, perhaps even for like court cases, as an example, like
lawyers.
And I know a lot of people think of like murder cases, whatever. But I think just even on the simplest level, like you can't afford a lawyer. Here in the United States, you get appointed a free court appointed lawyer. They're not going to really do much for you, right? So I think having an option where, hey, I can at least have a computer program that can sift through the laws, see if there's something I qualify for or whatever it is. Same thing for taxes, same things. I just think that when you get into very complicated areas where it's just full of information that a regular person could not tackle on their own, I think that AI agents can empower individuals. So that's what I'm excited about. I know that companies are going to make money, people are going to make money, but I like to look at the everyday person that couldn't defend themselves against corporation bureaucracy and complex laws and tax codes. I think that gives them a fighting chance, and that's something that I'd like to see in the hands of everyday users. And I think that blockchain kind of makes that accessible to everyone, right? I mean, so that's the area I'm excited about. I just want to throw my.
There's definitely a lot to be excited about.
I totally agree with you.
Gentlemen,
1000% agree.
I know I only asked for 30 minutes of your time. I've gone over, so I apologize. It's such a good conversation. Before I let you guys go, any closing thoughts? Anything you want people to know, people to stay aware of? Any big announcements coming up? I'll give the floor to you.
Can Nottingham Forest can Nottingham Forest win the Premier League?
That's a good question, Nigel. No, obviously, I think they should. Sorry, Nigel, go ahead.
I was going to say that's a question that DKING should know the answer to, right?
What does DKING say?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm going to go with that as well. And I just tell people to make sure to do their own research. Make sure that if they want to, start looking at agents, maybe they start also to check if the team behind it is deep in AI. And yeah, I'm not talking about us. I'm just talking about the whole space. There's going to be a lot of bubbles coming up. So it's always good to take a moment, step back, and watch if there's a rational behind all of that.
That is some really good advice. Just like every single narrative or sector, it just creates a large bubble. People just start throwing money. Guess what? When the dust settles, the teams are the ones that make the difference. Not the tokenomics, not the pumponomics. It's the teams, the people that are continuing to build. And so we're excited to see what you guys do in this space. Max and Nigel, thank you, gentlemen, so much for your time. And we definitely look forward to bringing you on again in the future to give an update on everything you guys are doing in the space. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Good evening. Cheers.
Bye.
All right. That's some good info, man. There's a lot of exciting things happening in AI agents. I'm telling you, there's a lot of amazing teams, people building in the space. And so, again, we will continue to bring you that level alpha on this channel. With that being said, I do want to give a big thank you to today's channel sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Legacy Network. I just want to give a big shout out to Legacy. Their TGE happened 2 days ago. And just amazing what we've seen. Now, obviously, when tokens go live, you do see sell-offs, right? But this token came out, the IDO price, I believe, was around 80 cents or $1.10. It's sitting at $1.24. And so this team is amazing. Love what they're doing. You guys know they've been a very long tenure sponsor here. If you haven't downloaded their app, you can actually actively earn LGCT tokens within the the Legacy Network app. And so that's available on Apple and Google Play stores. The link to join their Telegram is in the description of the video. So big shout out to them. Let's take a look at the markets, Rob, and I'm going to tell you what I did on the trading side here before we went live on the show.
Are you putting in trades?
I already did, yeah. What's the limit order?
Limit order, huh?
Yeah.
Swing trade?
Yes.
All right, so we got Bitcoin coming in at 92,100. We are scraping the floor of this support line early this morning, so about 5 hours ago. We saw 91.9. We are about to test that again. I am curious to see, do you think that we hold a 90K support? I know 91.9 is something that we just saw. But
what do you think?
I don't know. I'm on the fence.
Okay, let me tell you what I did. So here's what I did. I looked at this chart, and I looked at two things. One thing I looked at is, well, where can I find support? And so I put a limit order in at around $88,000, and let me just double check where my limit order is. Looks like it is 88,265. That's the price I put in. Now we are in no man's land for trading, right? But we have a couple bearish indicators. One, our sentiment dropped below our midline, not good. This is on the daily, by the way. 2, money flow turned red, not good. 3, cloud flipped from green to red, not good. 4, we broke below our baseline, not good. 5, we're in the cloud. You're not supposed to really put any trades in, but I do think if we continue down, we're gonna catch support right around 87,779. So around 87.8. And if I throw on the price action concept here, you can see that level, right? That kind of coincides with the bottom end of our cloud. We saw 91,000 Bitcoin traded in this area, and there was a 19% edge to the buyers versus sellers, as you can see here. So last time price was here, it consolidated for a couple of days, and then we ran from low to high of around 24%. So I feel very confident that if price does continue to go down, we are going to catch support right around 87.6 to 88.5. And so I put in a limit order on our exchange by DeFi, and so hopefully that fills the take profit I'm looking at. On the flip side would be the top end of that cloud, or potentially this volume node we have here right around 92.9. And so that is what I'm going to be looking at. But hey, even when markets are down, you can still make money. Now, ideally, right, once we broke below our conversion line, which is our blue line, the price broke below, it could have entered a trade. We missed that one, but you're not going to get all of them, and that's okay. You could have got there. You would have probably been let's see, what percentage profit would you be in if you entered there? You'd be at around a 5.5% profit multiplied by however many X's you throw on the leverage, which I would say when markets are volatile, just be careful with the amount of leverage you put in. So that's what I'm looking at. So long position, 88,265. Looking to take profits right around 92.5.
All right. Taking a look at what's down the most right now. I wanted to, in these times, in these moments, I want to identify where is the best value. And the best way to do that for me, you open up CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. They both do the same. But seeing where is the value, right? And value is when things are on sale. Like just like you go out shopping, you go to a retail store, department store, grocery store, whatever it is, and you see that item on discount, there's value there, right? And you see that, hey, I normally would pay $5 for this item. Now it's marked down to $2. Obviously, it's a better value compared to what you would, especially if that's something you were planning on buying anyways. You're going to go to the store to buy milk, and now it's 99 cents versus $5. Obviously, it's a value. If you were planning on buying some crypto projects, and now they're on sale, good value. So now, if you haven't identified exactly what product you were planning on buying, great way to look is what is the best value product. So take a look at the 24 hours. Well, you click it once, you see what is up the most, but you click it again and you see what is down the most for the last 24 hours. This is a good measure on what is currently the most volatile, the one that's drawn down the most. You got SPX, AI 16Z, Hyper Liquid. You got Thorchain, Virtuous Protocol. And all of these are down about 15% or more. And then also you look at the 7-day.
Hold on real quick. All the people that were hitting me up and saying, Virtuous Protocol, is it too late? Is it too late? It went from $5 to $3. $5 to $3. So if you're sitting there waiting and you felt like you missed out, here's your chance. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think, and I know me and David kind of lined up a little differently on the price of virtuals over the next, say, like 90 days. I think that they're probably going to get a cool off in this sector as far as price, but I think that you're going to get companies building, right? People are going to be building. These products are going to keep evolving. And so at some point, this is going to correct again back to the upside. And so you probably have a little time to pick this up. So I think, obviously, right now, 15% off is essentially a good deal, but it's down 30% on the 7 days. So as we mentioned, something that was over $5, now currently at $3. So it's damn near 50% off, right? If you were to use round numbers. Now, other projects that are down significantly for the week, you also have Thorchain. Are you big on Thorchain?
I like Thorchain. I think it's a good DeFi play.
And so Thorchain might be a good.
You were fading Thorchain yesterday.
I'm not personally holding Thorchain, but that's why I asked if you are. And so if this is in your bucket of assets already in your portfolio, you don't plan on exiting, and you want to increase your position, or let's just say you bought Thorchain at $4.50. Now is an opportunity to bring down your cost basis by picking it up. Also, you have some other projects here. We talked about Phantom. This one's being down. I think this is one of the leaders in the DeFi space. Also, you have Beam. I think Beam's dominance is fading, so I'm also fading Beam as far as a project I'm interested in. But you got Aave here as well. I mean, take a look at Aave. I mean, this might be a great pickup. On the 1 year, you can see that it has ran from $100 up to $278. And at one point, Aave was right at $400. Aave is something I'm expecting this year to be over $1,000. And so for me, this is something I have my eye on. And if this dips any further, I might be picking up some Aave. I was a little upset. I didn't get, my Aave is from last bull market, right? I was accumulating prior to it running up, because last bull market, it got up over $1,000, or no, over $500. And so I was accumulating Aave here as well. So I'm still in the profit. However, I was a little upset that during this bear market, it did not pick up more Aave. And so I'm kind of eyeballing an entry point here. So this is something I'm watching for. And this is what you do, ladies, gentlemen, this is what you do when you're in crypto, you're trying to make money, is that you're plugged into when the markets pull back. And if you just tune out and close your apps and move along your day when you have these big pullbacks, you're doing yourself a disservice, an injustice, and you're not taking advantage of buying the market when it's low. And, if you were to look back historically and say, when would have been the best time to buy Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, you name it, any project, is when the markets are low, you're in a bear market. And this is not a bear market, but this is an opportunity to get assets on discount. So that's just a little insight to how I play these days, because I know a lot of people like to poke fun. Anybody that's not really that deep into crypto likes to look at these moments and, hey, I heard Bitcoin's down heavy. You're like, I heard you still haven't bought.
I heard you're still poor.
Yeah.
Shame on you. I dropped some alpha in the whale Discord today. New agent launching tomorrow. Speaking of whales, we had a few new ones. So want to give a huge shout out, excuse me, to Edward.
So we got
Edward Urtiaga. Let me say, because the whales at least deserve their names pronounced correctly, okay?
You literally just mispronounced it.
No, I didn't. I just got to see it from my computer. And Ron Sifford, they just joined the whale member.
What about Stefan?
You said it yesterday.
He upgraded. He joined.
He was a hodler
yesterday.
Oh, and also.
And he upgraded again.
Stepan, welcome to the whale members. Guys, if you want access to the whale Discord, which I know you guys want, there's a lot of good info in there, get into our Discord, and then screenshot your YouTube membership. So that way we're not giving anyone access to the whale Discord that doesn't deserve it. And then we'll add you in there. A lot of great alpha. I know my buddy broke Yoshi yesterday. There was a AI agent. He had a Zion, threw it in there. That thing, I think, 3, 4, 5x. So a lot of great insight in there. If you guys want that alpha, join the whale Discord. So Ashley says she wants to be in the whale Discord. Well, become a whale, Ashley. You get paid enough money here. $25 is nothing.
And then I did have some new people in the chat. If you're new here, say something. We'll give you a little shout out. We got Anthony D. We have Maximum Honk, Joff. Also, we got Wispy, Davo, Ben L, Brian B, TikTok Vibes, Joku, Durple, Shane, Ty Fox, Scott S, Simone, Shane, Users, Robert B, Crypto Moonshot, My Chai, and Jets. To all of you. Hola! Welcome.
Also, join our Discord. Drop the link in there. Even if you're not a whale, you just hop in there. Our Discord's growing pretty fast. So a lot of good stuff in there. All right, that'll do it for the show today. My interview I did with Wiki, the founder of Virtuals Protocol, drops today. There's a lot of questions a lot of the community has asked. How do we get airdrops? How does it work? What are they doing? What's a lot of amazing alpha and great info in there. Make sure you guys go watch that. That'll be dropping in about 1 hour. And so watch that video, share it with your friends. We're going to make a lot of money in this AI space. And so we hope you stick around. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, we got a lot of new viewers today. Make sure you subscribe, you have a notification bell on. We put out a lot of different content on this channel. And with that being said, Rocco, thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. And big thank you to our 2 guests, Max and Nigel. Enjoy the rest of your day, my friends. We will see you tomorrow. Until then, peace.
Sin City, crypto. Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I spit the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the whale members. Buy the dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming hola till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado